What is the longest you've gone without eating and why? There was a period when I was extremely ill, and could not keep down food and water. I was having a manic bipolar episode, and the intense anxiety that came with it caused me to throw up multiple times a day every day. For about 2.5 months. I probably ate about 300 calories every 4 days at best, and I would most likely throw it back up later. I was in and out of the hospital. I was literally starving to death while I laid on the couch. I looked like a skeleton. I was so weak that I could barely walk. 2 weeks, back in college. I had a dose of food poisoning, so I couldn't eat for a couple of days, and after it passed I just didn't feel hungry. I thought it might be an interesting experiment to see how long I could go before I began to notice any effects. So, nothing but water. Then after 14 days I began to feel slightly lightheaded, so I started eating again. I was young and fit, I monitored my vitals carefully, it felt like a safe thing to do, though I don't think I'd do it now. Hey, 2 days. Was left home alone, and back then, I'd only eat when I was hungry, since that's what some movie I watched as a child taught, and it also made sense to me. However, I don't experience hunger, at all, so that system doesn't work. But I didn't know that back then, and just assumed that the 3 meals a day thing was yet another random social norm everyone follows because they've always done it that way. Nowadays I have a different system, and usually eat enough. A whole day. Felt like an eternity. Mom had invited friends around and I'd slept in, way over time. I'm extremely shy, so I try my best to avoid the small talk, even the quick hi guys gives me a rush of anxiety. Anyways, to get to the kitchen and bathroom you'd have to go through the lounge. They were all in the lounge. For the whole fucking day. So yeah, rotted away in my room that day because I was quite literally too scared to greet people. 3 solid weeks due to non-stop panic attacks. 3 fucking weeks. I lost around 30 pounds and was hooked up to fluids at the hospital since I couldn't drink. My panic disorder is so severe that I've been in the ER over 100 times for dehydration. Luckily, it's gotten better over the years as sweet crippling depression has taken over instead. Woman shrugging, woman facepalming. Over 3 weeks, anorexia. Not only once but for years intermittently. I'm lucky to have survived. It's grueling and ugly and can wreck you for life if it doesn't kill you. At a time recovered I've been for years and actually really enjoy food nowadays. Luckily almost no lasting damage after 3 years of pretty frustrating physical healing. 7 days doing a fasting retreat. Leader of the retreat had told us if you are sporty, you can do light forms of sports. I barely managed to walk up the stairs. Any stairs, that is. Gosh, you're low on energy. On the other hand, it's pretty interesting to see that going without food for 1 week is actually really not such a big deal. I had a GI bleed and needed a bunch of scans to find the source one day. Ended up not being able to eat for 4 days. Made the colonoscopy prep fairly easy because there was nothing in there but blood, so once that was out I could stop drinking the laxative. The liquid diet dinner I got that 4th day was basically heaven. A day and a half. Overworking myself to the point of not doing anything other than the things that needed done. I was skipping lunches in school for a few days, then said I was too sick for dinner on one night. I was actually feeling sick, but likely from stress and needed to eat. I was functioning off of water and Pepsi. A few days on a long party with loads of speed. Did keep drinking beer, so more like a liquid diet. At some point I did head to the supermarket for a few more crates of beer. I did buy a lot of food and man spend a few hours making a huge breakfast table. We all marveled at it. But no one actually ate anything of it. Lol. I ate one meal about 200 kilocalories about 3x a week, in total for a month, because my bank was lit giving me my student loan money. I lost like 15 kilograms in that time. It was just before Christmas, so you bet as soon as I went home, I ate like 3 plates of food and almost immediately wanted to just fall asleep for hours. Lol. 5 weeks from pancreatitis. Edit. I was only in the hospital for 8 days due to organs failing, but I also have a hyoid hernia. Any kind of stomach upset causes me to feel like I'm getting kicked in the throat. That would include my throat muscles moving, which is a requirement when swallowing even my own saliva. About 10 days when I was 8. I was in the hospital for a mystery illness and they decided to cease my food and water intake. I was able to get 4 fluids but no food. My pancreas and liver were massively inflamed. Despite the 4th I felt just as hungry and thirsty as if I had nothing. Wasn't a fun time. A month. Fasting but with water. Cause I was fat. Did not help weight loss but gave significant perspective on how my body worked with food. I wasn't as sensitive to how much I actually needed to eat or how different foods affected me. This actually helped me become more cognizant of my body. 40 days I was living as Christian at the time and felt like I wanted to do it. The church I went to at the time encouraged fasting, but not like that. I only told a few people and specifically chosen dates February.1 st March 12th because of the weather. I live in Arizona, made it to all 40, around 30 hours, give or take. 30-hour fast in high school. Participated because of the hot geography teacher. To be clear, it was just a crush. He was the best looking teacher there. While I did work harder to get the best grades I could, that was as far as I went. A few hours, give or take. I was in this rabbit hole in anxiety and depression to where I would only eat about one meal a day, that one meal being a bowl of cereal, as well as the only hydration I'd get usually. Sadly, this wasn't too long ago and I keep going back, around 3 months. Back in 1989, so I'm a little hazy on its duration. I was on a semi-starvation liquid diet. I needed to drop a lot of weight, fast. It worked. I've gained and lost since then, but I've never been as heavy as I was prior to those weeks in '89. 3 days due to breakup, noticed I was still defecating for 2 days after my last meal, made me wonder literally how much shit I was carrying around. Then 7 days water fast for fun experiment. The first couple of days are hard, then hunger subsides. 7 days, still had water to drink. It was a survival course at school. Build a shelter as a team and if you want food go catch it. I did not catch anything. Did it 2 years in a row. 17-18 years old. Lost 2 st first year and 1.5 st second year. 3 days. I do it pretty regularly now since I have gastrointestinal bleeding issues that nobody can figure out. It's very painful to eat solids multiple days in a row, so I have to take breaks. If you stay hydrated it's not so bad. 12 days, severe depression and anxiety. Worst part was getting used to eating again. Everything just grew in my mouth, and a mouthful would make me nauseous. And I mean nothing, no chips, no sodas or liquid water. 7 days just to see if I could do it. I did drink a half glass of juice early on, but it messed up my stomach, so just water after that. After the second day, I didn't feel particularly hungry, but by day 6 I felt fairly weak. 2 days. Very minimal water. Ex-husband broke the news that he wanted a divorce, after telling me he still loved me a lot and wanted to work on fixing things literally a month prior. Kinda broke me a little, pensive face. Almost 2 weeks. Relapsed on alcohol with 5-1-2 years sobriety. First day got a DUI. Was in jail for 12 hours, got released and drank the rest of the time. Better now with almost 10 months without drinking. 72 hours. Actually doing this every other week to control body fat. Usually only eat 2 meals between Monday to Thursday. However, I do drink protein drink and go to the gym daily to maintain muscle. Everyone's listing multiple days and deep ass reasons, but for me, it's just 6 hours, and the reason being that there was fuck all in my house to eat and I was exhausted from doing work. About 14 hours, I sometimes just forget to. But if I don't eat every 8 hours I get irritable, my stomach hurts, I feel like I'm going to throw up, and I get a pretty bad headache. 2 weeks. The first time was because I was so depressed after my mom's suicide I had no appetite. Every time after that was because I have nothing to eat and no way of getting any. Worst time was 7 days in the hospital from pancreatitis due to leftover stones in the bile duct after gallbladder surgery, which only took 4 years to figure out and get fixed. 3 months, probably depression on losing my eyesight. After that I was probably anorexic for about a decade, just eating a potato a day. Poverty was part of the issue then. Because of the gastroenteritis, I was 7 days without being able to eat and keep anything down. On another occasion, due to anxiety, depression, I was without eating for 5 days. 3 days. Intentional fasting. Pretty regularly. One time I made the mistake of going for a beach run 2 days and then collapsed lol. I don't exercise much when I do it now. 3 days. Homeless and smoking crack. Didn't even like crack. Smoked it to stay awake because I woke up on multiple occasions with different strangers trying to rape me. Around 75 hours I think. I wanted to see how long can I go. It helped I was traveling and sightseeing, so no time to get bored as I eat or snack out of boredom often. Monday to Saturday. Everything I tried to eat felt like poison. So I didn't. I threw up. Cried. And slept. This was just after ending a 9-year-long relationship. 3 days depression and ADHD ASD hyperfocus and crap body alerts. Only when I almost fainted did I realize. As a teen I often went 1-2 days without noticing. Missed dinner one night, skipped breakfast because I was running late, forgot to bring money for lunch. About 32 hours, entirely on accident, probably a day or two. Pregnancy stopped anything from staying down, and the thought of food touching my lips brought the little that was there up. 4 days. Combination of depression, lack of money for food, and forgetting to eat. I will often go an entire day where I just flat forget to eat. 8 days. Military survival school. It wasn't so bad after day 3. Didn't poop for those 8 days too. I learned that choice was a bad idea, maybe about 20 hours. Since I've always had blood sugar problems, even this can be kinda deadly. If it gets too low I start having seizures. 4 days. Depression. When I say ADHD has almost killed me on a number of occasions, this was one of them. Now I survive via spite and rage. 4 or 5 days. Appendicitis and subsequent surgery. As a student I regularly had a piece of the month left after finishing my money. Did 40 days back went, just to see if I could because that other guy went to the desert and did it in that book and I'm competitive. 6 days. I was water fasting. Without electrolytes, so bad idea. Also, never trust a fart when on a fast, learned that the hard way. A week, and no water for 3 days while doing the most intense workouts of my life. High school wrestling can be pretty toxic. 5 days deep depression with a splash of food poisoning. Legit would wake up drinking NyQuil peeing right back to sleep.